Hello everyone, everything good? My name is Rosie and welcome to my channel. Here I share some tips on how you can overcome depression day after day, and also a little bit of what I went through suffering from this disease. In this video you will discover a test that is often used to identify when a person is experiencing depression and the right time to seek help. As I wanted to have been informed at the time about this information, it took me a long time to accept that I had this disease, but it was thanks to the treatment I underwent that today I am a woman fully recovered and happy with life, so it is important that you watch the video to the end. But first I kindly ask you to subscribe to our channel, like and share the video so that more people have access to this information. Depression is considered today the disease of the 21st century. About 350 million people suffer from this disease worldwide, and with all this situation that we are currently going through, the trend is for this number to increase more and more. Depression is serious. Losing a job, losing a dear relative, a breakup, a divorce, these situations are very unpleasant and are part of our life, and it is common that when we face situations like these, there comes that feeling of sadness and anguish. And that's when we get scared, and it's very common, and it has nothing to do with depression. I decided to make this video so that I can explain what depression is more clearly than I've explained in the other videos. I spent years suffering from this disease, and I know how much it hurts, and also teach you how the doctor does this diagnosis of depression would be the major depressive episode. I'm also going to show you a very simple questionnaire with 2 questions that have a power of up to 80% to identify cases of depression in the general population, which you can do in your own home. But it is good to make it very clear, understand that no questionnaire makes the diagnosis. To make the diagnosis, it is necessary to have a medical consultation. But this is one of the most used tests screening depression in the general population. It is one of the most scientifically validated tests that you will be able to do in your own home. Well folks, and what is the basic concept of depression? Depression, it's a sinking, it's a fall, an abyss. Depression happens like a fall from a wall. It's completely different from sadness, which is something very superficial. And sensitivity to physical or psychic pain. It is a change in our mood. Mood has to do with 2 factors fundamental: our level of energy, physical and mental energy, and our level of sensitivity to pleasure, physical pleasure and psychic pleasure. So humor is energy and sensitivity. In the depressive condition, there is a persistent drop in mood, a drop persistence of energy and sensitivity levels. How does the person feel? A drop in the level of physical energy will lead the person to have feelings of tiredness, lack of mood. Sometimes the person feels that the muscle is not responding to the movement. There are even some cases where the person feels as if they have the muscle filled with lead. It's very difficult to get things done. A decrease in mental energy has to do with the still mind. It doesn't come thoughts. The person takes time to think, takes time to respond. Speech is slower, that agility of reasoning to solve complex situations. This gets lost. Everything becomes very difficult. The person even avoids trying to solve these things, something that was not her pattern. A loss of sensation as well, a decrease in sensitivity to pleasure. This is a fundamental symptom of depression. If we are going to define a fundamental symptom of depression, it is this one: a decrease in sensitivity to pleasure. The taste for things, this is diminished. The color, how much things they stimulate us, this is very faded. The world is left without salt, without taste, and this comes with the feeling of lack of motivation, of hopelessness. It is a lack of purpose in the future. There's a phrase that I really like, which is, we don't get sick because of an excess of suffering, we get sick because of a lack of pleasure. And this symptom is always present in the depressive condition. And the sensitivity to pain, it can be increased. The person can feel attacks from the world in a much more intense way, or sometimes it can be also diminished. We feel an effective anesthesia. So, this is the characterization of a depressive condition. Of course, there are several other criteria, several exams that we do, several diagnostic criteria, more for you to understand. When we talk about serious depression, medical depression, we are not talking about sadness, frustration, or discouragement. We are talking about the loss of sensitivity to pleasure and a decreased levels of physical and mental energy. I'm going to put this test called PHQ-2. This is a test composed of 2 questions. It has a score as you can see there on the screen. How does it work? The idea is that you can answer these 2 questions based on the last 2 weeks of your life. So, in the last 2 weeks, how often have you been feeling little interest or little pleasure in doing things? And then we will give a point for that. We put 0 points if it didn't happen once. A point if several days happened. 2 stitches happened more than half the days these past 2 weeks. And 3 points if this happened to you almost every day. And that we will also do for the second question. In the past 2 weeks, how often have you felt drained of energy, sad, or hopeless? We will also give these points. And then we will add up how many points the first question and the second question gave. And if this sum is greater than or equal to 2, there is a high probability that a depressive condition is occurring. Does that mean you have depression? Not necessarily. But it is important for you to be evaluated, for you to undergo a professional consultation, to take a look at this aspect related to your mood. I know how difficult it is to seek help when we have this disease. I suffered for 15 years with depression, and it took me a long time to seek help, accepting that I suffered from this condition. I spent a lot of money on drugs and therapies that didn't work. I don't want it if you suffer the same thing as me. I'll leave in the description of the video the link to the method that helped not only me, but thousands of people to overcome depression. Okay guys, I hope I helped with this video. A hug and stay with God.